What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Makai back in the building. You feel me? Now, today, we have another reaction video. Today, we're going to be looking at Accidental Basketball Ruined the NBA by Uncut Hoops. Now, this was recommended to me. Me personally, I like some of Uncut Hoops videos, but sometimes they're a little biased, so I try to stay away from him because he's biased to the older version of basketball. So we're gonna see what he's talking about though this video, because accidental basketball, seeing Kobe, and I already know what clip is gonna be. So we're gonna see what dang, why can't I say it? We are going to see what we're gonna get into. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video and let me know what videos you guys will want me to watch in the future. And let's go ahead and get into the video, man.
So like these players now play accidental basketball, and it drives me and Phil crazy because it's all penetrating pitch. You may make the shot, you may not. You have no idea who's going to be open or whatever. It's accidental basketball. We play
now before he even let him have his point.
With purpose.
Okay, so look. Now, back in high school and middle school and AAU ball, this is how we used to play basketball. So it started when we was young. Like, that's how we used to play basketball. And it's kind of amazing that it's still being played to the higher level. You even see it in college basketball. That's how they play basketball. And it's kind of amazing that you're seeing it in the NBA as well.
Basketball's pretty simple if the ball's moving.
Sure.
Now, the point guard can do whatever he wants to do. Instead of dribble from one side to the other, back and forth. But he's an initiator, and if he gets that ball moving, that ball's moving, everybody feels a part of it. It doesn't matter where it ends up, because it's always going to end up to the best player. You know? Sometimes that always happens. But
ball has energy.
That's right, and you get that ball moving, and good things happen all the time. It's a pretty simple game if you play it the right way.
When it comes to the greatest teams in NBA history, many would look at the 2017 Warriors, 01 Lakers, and especially the 96 Bulls, as all those teams were historically dominant and great in their respective era. Now, like most debates, looking at the greatest teams, greatest players, greatest anything, it is very, very subjective and opinion-based. But looking at all those teams, if you love team basketball on both ends, great passing and defense, there's two teams historically that personify both those traits. First up, 2014 Spurs, led by Tim Duncan, and secondly, the Boston Celtics in 1986, led by Larry Bird.
Until now, Celtics running. They have a chance here. 4-on-2.
There's a lot of other teams too. Like you got the Pistons in 05. You got really the Pistons in 05 because there was no true best player on that team. It was just team basketball.
Third to Parrish. Makes more effective offensively. It's a bad shot by Moncrief. Not that way. Boston 2-on-1, and Webb is back. Bird is on Lloyd now, doubling on Sampson, and takes the ball away. 3-on-1 for the Boston.
Perfection. If you want to talk the greatest passing teams of all time, the 86 Celtics 2014 Spurs are on a very short list. I was looking at both their lineups. There wasn't just one great passer, one great playmaker. I was looking at 1 through 5. All their players are capable passers who can make the right play at any moment.
That's pretty rare too. You know, that's very, very rare.
Like Boston, who are they led by? Larry Joe Bird, debatably the greatest passing forward of all time. Off the bench, you have Bill Walton, one of the greatest passing bigs the game's ever witnessed.
He was special.
When you look back at this Boston team in '86, they have the prototype of the 2014 Spurs. And compared to the modern era, where it's dribble, 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 everyone watching, last minute pass for an assist, they make it or they miss it.
Now, I ain't gonna lie, like in more recent times, there has been teams that has not been like that. Like the Nuggets. The Nuggets, when Jokic was, you know what I'm saying, was the MVP, like he was a very great initiator. He used to pass the ball. Everybody used to move around, stuff like that. But for the most part, most teams nowadays are just one person dribbling out the shot clock. Luka, for an example, when he was on the Mavericks, he would dribble out the shot clock and then kick it out to somebody in the corner or something like that. So that is true.
The 2014 Spurs 86 Celtics, everyone was involved, getting touches, and capable of making a highlight play. Now, speaking of highlights when it comes to the Celtics, their biggest highlight, biggest peak was Game 5 of the 86 semis versus the Hawks in Boston. This game historically is never talked about, but watching the film in the third quarter, it was absolute brilliance. Boston for the quarter, 36 points. The Hawks only managed 6.
Sheesh.
Third quarter, they make history.
I remember talking to Danny about that quarter, and he described it as the perfect quarter of basketball.
When our team really wanted to and really had to, we were so special.
It was a thing of beauty.
What does Mike Fratello do? He just called a bunch of timeouts. He just ran into a tsunami, and we just wiped him off the face of the earth.
It just took all the life out of the Hawks.
It was like we were stuck in mud, and they put on a clinic in that quarter. Really...
Those two teams used to always go at it, but it seemed like the Celtics just water over the bridge when it comes to the Hawks. You know what I'm saying? But they used to go at it a lot.
Playing them at times, they would go somewhere else, and you couldn't go there. You know, you knew your team couldn't go there, and it was a humbling experience.
So, stopping that right there very quickly, the third quarter Game 5 versus the Hawks, to me personally, is the pinnacle of team basketball. As looking at the offense, outrunning the fast break, making great passes, making the extra pass to open teammates. And on the flip side, vice grip defense in the paint and on the perimeter.
2 shots right on line, and both of them have bounced around the rim and just have more options on their offense.
Bird again to reach in. No changes for the Celtics. Dominique blocked by Bird. Even when the Hawks look like they have an opportunity to run, suddenly there's 4 white shirts back there. Blocked by McHale.
It was everything that was great about the 1986 Celtics on display in full force for you. Pace, rebounding, shooting, scoring, and again, defense. If you want to go back and look at what the 86 Celtics were all about, call up that third quarter, because that was it in a nutshell.
The only two teams in the so-called modern era who could lock it up on one end and score 35 plus on the other end were the Golden State Warriors and San Antonio Spurs.
And whenever I talk to cats, man, when I talk to guys now and be like, man, the 86 Celtics was like one of the greatest teams of all time, they discredit it. That's just lack of education. For people who have not seen the 86 Celtics, go watch them. Go watch them. The only game or player that I've seen that he's even put up a real fight was Michael Jordan, and that was when he gave him 63. But they still lost, and they actually got swept. The Bulls got swept. You know what I'm saying? So the 86 Celtics was, man, one of the greatest teams of all time. Just that whole run. The whole run, definitely one of the greatest teams of all time, man.
And like I said earlier, this Celtics team was the prelude to all that. And just like those teams, they could take a 10-point game, push it to 20. Take a 20-point game, push it to 30, and rest the entire fourth quarter. That two-way dominance, great team two-way dominance, is a lost art for teams, especially in the 2020s. And looking at Boston on defense, the entire Hawks roster, abysmal shooting top to bottom. Out of the entire roster, not a single player over 33% shooting for the quarter, and no single player had more than one made field goal.
Oh, that's not good.
Now, for some more context, the Hawks this quarter, only scoring 6 points in the third quarter, is the lowest mark ever in a single quarter in playoff history. The second lowest, ironically, Boston versus Atlanta 2016, in a first quarter where they only scored 7. Also, some very important context, 2 made field goals in a quarter is tied for the fewest ever, and the field percentage 11.1, the 5th worst ever in a single quarter in NBA playoff history.
He's going to give you everything he has out there. He's just going to run the lanes and hit the boards.
Inside, Konkak is blocked by Parrish. 22 straight points for Boston. And nobody wants to shoot it for Atlanta.
For this Boston team 4 years later, what everyone always goes to is a great offense and great team passing, and rightfully so. But looking at their defense, equally as dominant and equally as effective, as Boston 86, first in defensive rating, first in rebounds, first in points per percentage, and third in points per game allowed. And looking at their roster, the spearhead of their defense, Dennis Johnson, one of the greatest defensive guards of all time. And behind Dennis, what they were anchored by is guys like Walton, Parrish, and even Kevin McHale. Scoring this team in the paint was virtually impossible. In the perimeter, things weren't much easier. Now, looking past Boston's great defense at their offense, in this quarter, they didn't just score 36 points to close the quarter, a 24-0 run, on record the biggest run in playoff history. Much like the 2014 Spurs 2016 Warriors, everyone on Boston was a willing passer who could make the right play. As looking at Danny Ainge among shooting guards, 7th in assists. Larry Bird for small forwards, ranked 2nd. McHale for power forwards, ranked 3rd. Walton among centers was 9th, and Parrish among centers was 10th. Out of the entire Boston starting 5, the only player who wasn't top 10 assists per position was Dennis Johnson, and Johnson overall for the NBA ranked 21st, which is 2nd on the team, only behind Bird. When you have great passing 1 through 5, 1 through 6, the forwards, guards, and centers, that takes you from a great team to an all-time great team. And this Boston team undoubtedly is an all-time great team that would thrive in any era. As looking at their play style, they could shoot, post up, had great ball movement, could run the break, and above all else, were unselfish. If you want to watch great team basketball, great passing, making the extra pass, and not a lot of ISOs, watch the Celtics, Spurs, and Golden State Warriors. As looking at all
Now, the Golden State Warriors back then, yes. Oh, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And I'm not going to lie to you, that's the most beautiful basketball when it comes to it being like 3-point heavy. It's so beautiful. It was so beautiful in their prime.
teams, it was me over we, the team over individual success. So that right there is the end of the video. As always, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Kobe was right. Accidental basketball. Like, whenever you see certain players, when it comes to ISO basketball, especially when the three started to really become something, that's when you really started to see that accidental basketball. Guys like James Harden, who would just sit at the top of the key, dribble out the shot clock, or do whatever, get the high pick and roll. If it doesn't happen to the point where he can't get no floater or nothing down the paint, no lob, he can kick it out to the 3. Fast forward, you got Luka, who does the exact same thing. At the top of the key, dribbling it out, penetrate, kick it out. It's accidental basketball because you don't know if you're going to make it or miss it. You don't know who's going to get the ball. When you go backwards in time, there was plays, there was stuff that was made for a purpose. It wasn't necessarily I get the ball and I'm, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't necessarily like that. You know, and the 86 Celtics really depicted that. Of course, the Warriors depicted that. Of course, the Spurs, 2014 Spurs, like you said, depicted that. So, I agree. Accidental basketball, it's a lot now. But hopefully it gets better because, you know, it ain't about ISO ball. It's a team sport. So, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And recommend some more videos that you guys want me to see in the future. And until my next video, man, I'm going to catch y'all.